Have you ever imagined waking up every day with a strong mind, without those fears that hold you back, without negative thoughts sabotaging you, without that feeling of doubt keeping you stuck in the same place? It sounds impossible, right? But it's not. The difference between a strong mind and a fragile one lies in what you feed it. What you tell yourself every day shapes who you are becoming. If you keep repeating things like, "I'm not good enough," "It's going to go wrong," "I never succeed," guess what? Your mind will believe it, and your life will reflect those thoughts. But the good news is that you can change this. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. I'll share 10 powerful affirmations you need to repeat daily to strengthen your mind and become more resilient. These aren't just nice words. They are techniques used by great philosophers, like the Stoics, to maintain calm, strength, and balance, even in the toughest situations. Before we start, I have a challenge for you. Go to the comments and write, "I choose to become stronger every day." It may seem simple, but this small action starts training your brain to focus on your growth. Affirmation 1. I am the creator of my life. Have you ever felt like your life is heading in a certain direction and you have no control over it? Like you're just a passenger, unable to choose where you're going. That feeling makes it seem like we are victims of fate. But the truth is, that's an illusion. You have far more power than you realize. You may not control everything that happens, but you always have the power to choose how you react. Think of someone who has been betrayed in a relationship. The pain is real, and so is the disappointment. The first reaction might be to ask, "Why did this happen to me?" Or "I didn't deserve this." But what if, instead of dwelling on those thoughts, that person took a deep breath and said, "I will overcome this. I will rebuild myself." The real shift comes from understanding that you always have a choice. Those who feel like victims of circumstances suffer much more because they hand over all their power to chance. But those who understand they can shape their reality find the strength to move forward. Life doesn't owe us anything. There's no pre-written script where everything works out automatically. If you want something, you need to go after it. If you see yourself as a victim, you lose control. But if you take responsibility for your own life, every small decision you make will lead you to a better future. Now, think of someone you admire, someone who remains calm even when everything seems to be falling apart. That person doesn't have a perfect life. The difference is in how they face difficulties. They don't let problems define them. And you can do the same. From today onwards, tell yourself, "I create my reality." Your life is not just a reflection of what happens around you, it's a reflection of your choices. When challenges arise, you'll know how to face them without losing yourself. Because, in the end, what defines your life is not what happens to you, but how you choose to respond. Think of it this way. You are the architect of your own life. If the road seems tough, adjust the route, but never hand over control. Every thought, every word, and every action you take today is shaping your future. You are not a victim. You are the creator of your reality. And the more you reinforce this within yourself, the stronger you become at transforming your life from the inside out. Affirmation 2. I am capable. In 1978, researchers conducted an interesting experiment. They told some teachers that certain students had incredible potential, almost like prodigies, based on IQ tests. But here's the twist. Those tests never existed. The students were just ordinary kids like any other. But something amazing happened. The teachers began treating those children with more confidence and higher expectations. And guess what? Their grades started improving. This proves something powerful. When someone believes in your potential, you start acting in line with that belief. But the opposite is also true. If you believe you're not good enough or that you'll always fail, your mind will find ways to confirm that belief. For example, people who were teased at school may grow up believing they will always be treated that way and, out of fear, end up avoiding social interactions. Men who fail a few times when trying to date someone might conclude that they just don't have what it takes and give up entirely. Women who have been cheated on multiple times might start believing that all men are unfaithful and, out of distrust, end up sabotaging new relationships. What seems real becomes real. Your brain is always looking for proof to confirm what you already believe. If you think you'll fail, your posture changes. You speak with hesitation, act with fear, and ultimately increase the chances of things going wrong. But if you believe you are capable, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your energy becomes contagious, and you start acting more decisively. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Nobody is free unless they are master of themselves." In other words, true freedom doesn't come from controlling what happens around you, but from controlling how you respond to situations. When you affirm to yourself, "I am capable," you build a mental shield against fear and doubt. This doesn't mean everything will always go right. It means that even when things go wrong, you trust that you have the strength to keep going. Think of an athlete who falls during a competition. They have two choices: stay down or get up and try again. And guess what? Success is not about never failing, but about choosing to keep going despite setbacks. I am capable. When you say this to yourself, your mind learns to see challenges as something you can handle, not as threats. You start trusting yourself more and relying less on the approval of others. And what happens next? A powerful chain reaction. You speak with more confidence. You position yourself better. You make decisions without fear of failure. Confidence doesn't come before action. It develops during the process. Even when you fail, the simple act of trying strengthens your belief in yourself. And over time, this builds an inner strength that no one can take away from you. So, tomorrow morning, before leaving the house, look in the mirror and say with conviction, "I am capable." Say it on good days, and especially on bad days. Because believing in yourself doesn't mean being certain of success. It means trusting that no matter what happens, you will always find a way forward. I move forward. Life will never be perfectly stable. Each day brings challenges, uncertainties, and moments of doubt. But it also brings opportunities that only those who keep moving can reach. Think of someone running on a treadmill at the gym. Their legs start to feel heavy. Breath becomes short. Sweat drips down their face. The urge to press the stop button is overwhelming. But they continue. One more step, then another. And suddenly, the body adapts, the rhythm falls into place, and a strength emerges they didn't even know they had. Life is like that. Progress doesn't come from speed. It comes from the decision to keep going, even when it seems impossible. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it." The biggest obstacle is not out there. It is in your mind. The problem is not the difficult path. It's what you tell yourself about it. The fear of failure, the doubt about being enough, the feeling that the effort isn't worth it. That is what really paralyzes. That's why sometimes all you need to do is take the next step, even without full clarity. Because movement brings clarity. The answer doesn't come before action. It comes during the process. When you allow yourself to continue, even in uncertainty, the path begins to become clearer. When you tell yourself, "I move forward," you train your mind for resilience. That means trusting yourself without seeing the whole path. It means stopping waiting for the perfect moment and starting to act with courage, even when everything seems uncertain. It means accepting that discomfort is part of growth. Think of a writer stuck on a difficult chapter. They can wait for inspiration or simply keep writing, even not knowing if the text will be good. The difference between someone who finishes and someone who gives up isn't talent. It's the willingness to keep going even without immediate guarantees of success. Being resilient means trusting. It means having courage. It means moving forward even when there are no certainties. Movement generates strength. When you start your day saying, "I move forward," you build a mental shield against fear, doubt, and laziness. You train your mind to persist, day after day. You don't need to run all the time. Sometimes, just walking is enough. And on some days, all you need to do is stay standing. The most important thing, not stopping. Because as long as you move, you grow. And as you grow, you win. Now, I want to invite you to commit to this challenge. Sign up for the channel, like the video, share your journey in the comments. Let's transform our lives together, one day at a time. My actions speak for me. Talking is easy. Anyone can give advice, make promises, or criticize. But true strength isn't in words. It's in actions. The Stoics were clear about this. Do not waste time discussing what a good person is. Be that person. Marcus Aurelius. How many times have you seen someone demanding respect, but disrespecting others? Preaching discipline, but living disorganized? Giving financial or relationship advice, but living the opposite of what they preach? The world is full of empty speeches. People who demand integrity but act hypocritically. The difference between a leader and a talker lies in the consistency between what they say and what they do. Think of something simple. You work in a team where everyone is procrastinating. You have two options: complain and try to motivate them with words. Act. If, instead of talking, you start acting, you organize your tasks, you stay focused, you deliver results. Soon, others start to notice and follow your example. Example pulls. Actions inspire more than words. You can't control others' behavior, but you can control your own. If you want respect, respect yourself first. If you want justice, act with justice. If you want others to be disciplined, show discipline in your own life. When you lead by example, you don't need to convince anyone. Your posture speaks for you. Now imagine a friend who is always late for appointments. You have two options. Complain. Simply start arriving on time. Over time, they notice the pattern and begin to adjust their actions. Why? Because example creates an invisible impact, more powerful than any speech. People might disagree with your words, but they can't ignore your actions. Being an example doesn't mean being perfect. It means being consistent. When you make a mistake, you take responsibility. When you face an obstacle, you stay calm. When you fail, you try again without making excuses. The Stoics didn't just talk about virtues. They lived those virtues every day. And that is what transforms you into a true leader. Respect is not earned with speeches, but with attitude. Start telling yourself, "My actions speak for me." Let your deeds be your best argument. Because when your actions reflect what you believe, you don't need to prove anything. Your posture speaks for you. Nothing can stop me. The biggest barrier isn't out there. It's within you. Fear, doubt, that inner voice saying you're not capable. All of that builds an invisible wall between you and your goals. But this wall is not indestructible. It was built by you, and only you can break it down. How many times have you known exactly what you needed to do, but stayed waiting, paralyzed? You want to change jobs, improve your health, or start your business, but your mind triggers automatic thoughts. I don't think it's the right time. What if it all goes wrong? It's not the world that's holding you back. It's your own thinking. Epictetus said, "What troubles us is not what happens, but how we react to what happens." That's why some people manage to progress, even in difficulties, while others remain stuck in doubt. It's not talent, luck, or intelligence that makes the difference. It's attitude. Who wins is the one who takes action, without guarantees, without certainties, but with courage to face the unknown. Now think of someone you admire, someone who has achieved what you want. That person probably also had fear. They probably doubted themselves at some point, but they took the first step, not because they were sure it would work, but because they understood that progress only comes after action. You don't build confidence with results, but by the path you choose to take. You don't need to wait until you feel ready to start, because no one ever feels ready. But when you act even without certainty, you prove to yourself that you're capable. Little by little, you start making decisions with more firmness. Face risks without fear of failing. Learn to get up faster after a fall. This is the difference between staying still and moving forward. The biggest obstacle between you and what you want is yourself, the inner resistance. It's not the world out there. It's your own inner resistance. Fear and doubt will appear, but you don't have to let them control you. Others have already succeeded, and you can too. I go beyond my limits. You are as strong as you believe you are. If you think you're not capable of something, your body and mind will respond to that limitation. But when you believe it's possible, something changes. The limits that once seemed insurmountable start to give way. Now, imagine someone who wants to organize their finances, but thinks, "I will never get out of debt." That thought keeps them stuck in a negative reality. They continue spending uncontrollably, believing there's no way out. Now, what if that person changed their mindset to, "I can learn to control my money"? Suddenly, they stop feeling paralyzed and start taking action. They learn about finances, control their spending, reduce expenses. The first results may be small, saving 100 Brazilian reals, 200 Brazilian reals. But that generates confidence, and confidence strengthens behavior. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." When you have a clear purpose and believe it's possible to achieve it, your mind finds a way. Pain no longer becomes an obstacle, and instead, It becomes a sign that you're growing. Limits don't disappear, but you learn to overcome them. Your brain works like a muscle. It responds to the stimuli you provide. If you feed your mind with doubts and insecurities, it creates resistance. But if you feed your mind with confidence and determination, it sees possibilities where there were once barriers. Now, think of someone who wants to lose weight, but always says, "I'll never be able to maintain a healthy routine." That thought locks the person in place. Now, what if they changed it to, "I can make better choices, one step at a time"? The game changes. The mind stops making excuses and starts making strategies. This isn't empty positive thinking. It's science. Your brain seeks coherence between what you think and how you act. If you believe you are strong, you act with strength. If you believe you can achieve something, you'll find a way. You don't need to know exactly how you'll get there. You just need to believe it's possible. Overcoming limits doesn't happen all at once. It's a daily build. It's getting up even when you don't feel like it. It's giving that extra effort when you're already tired. It's continuing even when it seems too hard. Tell yourself every day, "I go beyond my limits." Believe in the process. Trust in your strength. Limits exist to be overcome, and you are stronger than they are. I stop self-sabotaging. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to sabotage yourself? You set goals. You make plans. And then, when it's time to take action, you find excuses. Now's not the time. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. And this cycle repeats over and over. This is self-sabotage. The enemy is not out there. It's the self-doubt that holds you back. And what do you do to break that cycle? You stop waiting for motivation. Motivation doesn't come before the work. It comes during the work. You stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. You stop giving excuses. And you start taking control. Self-sabotage only works when you let it. Take control of your actions. Start making commitments to yourself and honor them. When you face yourself and say, "I stop self-sabotaging," you break the cycle. The key to overcoming this is simple. Do what you said you would do. No excuses. No justifications. Your commitment is more important than your feelings. Because, in the end, action is what creates results. And when you see the results, you realize that self-sabotage was just an illusion. Your power is in your actions. I stop self-sabotaging.